Coming to you live from St. Louis, Missouri.
It's the FasterFreedom Show.
With your hosts, Sam Prim and Lucas Whoa!
We're talking about freedom?
Hello and welcome to the FasterFreedom Show. How are you, Lucas?
I'm good, man.
You ready for a
Banger.
Yep, we got a good one today.
I know, man. Frames Friday. You went with, not tinted frames, but they are frames.
I did, and part of it is because I forgot that it's Frames Friday, but you should have reminded me beforehand, but that's okay.
So do you wear contacts when you don't wear frames?
There's no way in hell that I could touch my eyeballs, 0% chance. So no, I've never had contacts in my eyeballs and probably never will. I'd rather have surgery or wear glasses than put in contacts.
So are those blue light then? Or what?
They have a little blue light tint to them, but these are prescription glasses.
To see better.
To see better, yes.
So, but when you don't have those on,
I can still see pretty good.
see okay.
Yeah, it's not like it's horrible. It's just a little.
But you can tell the difference, like.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Like Sam Prim on that book back there, I can still read it without. It's just a little blurry.
A little blurry. All right. Well, good.
Awesome. So today we got a good episode for you. It's been quite the week here at the office like usual. So Luke and I are excited to just kind of chill and hang out with you. If you are joining from one of our social media platforms we're streaming on, let us know where you're from. We can see the comments. Sometimes they're delayed. Sometimes they're not. So make sure to comment where you're from. We like to see where everybody's from. And then if you're watching the recording, you can comment as well. But we appreciate you watching the recording or listening to the recording on podcast platforms.
Yeah. Any questions you guys got about anything we're talking about, throw them in there and we can get to them.
Why is there football up here? Just left up here? Or was that
I was
intentional?
just kind of, sometimes I just like to throw a ball around. I don't know. Do you get that urge as well?
Nope.
You slang that one across the office to me.
Hits you right between the numbers.
I don't know about that, but you threw a long distance very hard, and I caught it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was a good throw.
Yep.
Cool. We got quite the episode for you today. So today we have an amazing guest that'll be hopping on here in a minute. So we got our opening headlines we're going to get into. Then our guest is Mike Kitko.
Yeah.
He is, author, motivational speaker, coach. How is that kind of how you describe him?
Those are great.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has a model where he has a mastermind course. So the goal is for him to get people into his mastermind course and him teach them on building their inner happiness so they can go out and do business better. But he's also an individual one-on-one coach. He's my coach. He's coached Sam a little bit as well. He coaches our leadership team here. So big part of building a business and just being happy in general is the stuff that Mike teaches and allows you to go out there and build a business more successfully.
I'm going to be outnumbered when he sits down. You know how I'm going to be outnumbered?
2-1.
What's going to be the outnumbered?
The hair.
Yep.
Nice.
He's bald.
He is bald.
You're bald.
Does he wear glasses? I might be outnumbered. No, he doesn't.
He doesn't wear glasses.
Yeah.
We got Saudi Arabia. We got upstate New York. We got Montreal. Montreal's a beautiful city.
Never been.
All the most beautiful women in the world are there, and they got flown up from Miami on Drake's plane.
Yeah, that's Toronto, but yeah, okay.
Oh, shit, I'm wrong about
That's
that, right?
It's up there.
Okay,
Yeah.
So it's north of here.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let us know where you're from if you have not.
Joyzy.
And then we're going to play Would You Rather, which is fun. Then we're going to do a little bit of a motivational, and then Lucas and I are tied on our trash can game where we shoot the outlines into the trash can. We'll do right-handed.
Right
We
hand.
can do right-handed. That was unintentional.
Feels better today.
But there wasn't. I didn't know you were injured. That wasn't
I
the
didn't
whole
either.
goal.
It's like
And
that
I'm not
bad.
the best with my left hand, and I still got it.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. If anything, going left hand is probably an advantage for you.
I would think so normally.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do, is an advantage for you.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll let you roll with the photos at the right time to York. All right, so let's get into headlines. Lucas, again, if you're just joining us, let us know where you're from. Thank you for being here. If you're watching on social media, make sure you're following us. We'd like to help you learn a little bit about real estate and freedom, but we're going to start out with some headlines. Lucas.
Yeah.
The U.S. cell phone servers may have been cyber hacked.
Bro, may have been.
They were cyber hacked.
Well, they didn't work for a while, right?
For a while. Like how many?
Let's take a step back here. So our office was extremely. Yeah, come on forward. Okay. But anyway, there was tens of thousands reported, up to 75,000 people reported this some sort of outage. A lot of weird things going on with the phones, but that seems crazy low because right here in our office, I feel like 80% of the people were affected right here. So,
Were you affected?
No, I have T-Mobile.
Oh, okay.
Do you have AT&T?
I don't even know what I have. I was not affected though. I have Verizon.
Yeah, I heard something people saying like it was only iPhones that were affected too, or something like that.
You're just saying that because you're an Android guy.
No, because I've seen it on social media. So
everything on social media is true,
yes,
Lucas.
Exactly. But people like Android users, which I am one, but I'm not like diehard like some of these people.
I'm not a diehard I'm Apple guy.
But man, they took this and ran with it. Like, everybody with an iPhone today, do you guys have problems? So it was funny.
And I saw some funny people that were commenting or like saying like, is this World War III starting? Because there's been a lot of talk about China and cyber hacking and all of that stuff, and that's the next wave.
Man,
of wars.
I thought that's what it was. I thought this was it. Here it comes.
That would not be good for our brand because like I live on people's phones.
Well, I mean, I think that would be the last thing you think about is your brand if you were getting fucking
making
cyber
money.
attacked.
Yeah,
right?
I mean
money might not be a thing.
Well, I mean we'd get over like cyber attack we'd get through it, but
yeah.
I mean, we get 25 million views a month on people's phones on social media. That would be unfortunate to lose that.
T. York told me about that cyber hacking movie. Did you end up watching that?
I did not know. I don't like stuff that like could maybe happen. I don't want to.
But that's the first thing I thought of when this happened.
Ignorance is bliss.
But yeah, most people are more level-headed than us out here and saying it could have been an update that was messed up or something like that. So
yeah, Kirk Bailly says that. Yeah, or Kirby AI probably. What did I say? Kirk Bailly? I think it's Kirby AI.
Well, when it's all one word, who knows where it starts and stops.
Correct. So. Again, let us know where you're from. We like to interact with the audience and crowd. And if you have anything
what
really
about
cool.
That next one? What about the next one under Kirby? Try to pronounce that.
I
would go Gabe Fro.
Yeah, it's Gabe Frost. Yeah, we know. I've chatted with him on it. He's been. I think he's in. I don't know where he's at. Say where's that? He's over in. I think like Indianapolis. Yep, Indy. I see it. Yep. So I've chatted with Gabe. Gabe's he's been around for a while.
Instead of Gabe for O.
Yes. Instead of or G Abe Fro. All right, for the audience that's listening, sorry, this isn't super fun for you, but it's all right. It's fun for us.
Yeah.
So anyways, nobody knows for sure what happened. It sounds like it was probably potentially kind of an update thing. I know sometimes, they do go, cell phones and carriers do go down for short periods of time, but this was much more widespread than most.
Some people's phones were trapped on like SOS mode.
Your sister-in-law's was.
Shout out Christine. And then... But everybody's phone was still kind of working on Wi-Fi, so you could still make calls if you're connected to Wi-Fi and all that. But out there on the networks, it was wild.
It was wild west.
We had somebody driving to the office and didn't even know the hack was going on, and they got here and just like ping, 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 ping. He's like, "What is happening?
What is going on?"
Yeah.
There's our guest, him in his soccer shoes.
Yeah,
Sambas. We'll get you here in a minute, Bubbas. Yeah. All right, we're excited. I'm going to be outnumbered. Actually, wear your glasses on your head. So glasses are even, then bald we're even. So I'm not too outnumbered. All right, we got Michael coming on here in a little bit. All right. Heading number 2, why don't you start that out and read that directly like it is so we can use it for a short for your new channel, Lucas Faster Freedom.
All right.
Which, by the way, everybody go follow Lucas Faster Freedom.
Nothing is posted yet.
You need to post 5 things so people have something to watch when
You're
they go
right.
there.
And then we tell people to go there, Sam. But, maybe I'll get some followers. Anyway, President Biden goes after Putin for his alleged involvement in prisoner's death. Which prisoner was this?
This is the one we talked about last week or earlier this week that Alexei Navalny.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Anyway, Alexei.
That's harder than the handles on Instagram.
It is. So Alexei, he was going up against.
This is just a wild story in
Putin,
general.
He was going up against Putin, which the election's in like 2 weeks. He was going up against Putin, and then he got...
Wasn't he like the leading candidate against Putin?
Yeah, and then he got arrested.
He gets put in jail
and then
a couple months ago.
And then he got killed.
It's
funny,
like
but it's not.
2 weeks before the election.
Yeah, it's like something like a bad boss in a James Bond movie would do.
It's just like when I think of Russia, like of course that fucking happened in Russia. That's crazy.
Yeah, Russia's wild, and I know your boy's over there right now doing a ton of stuff. Tucker Carlson trying to show that it's
my boy.
Trying to show that it's not as bad as it looks, but it's that stuff like that when your president is completely not worried about killing somebody and like going to jail or having to be arrested or having it tied back to him is wild.
So what did Biden do? So he didn't like that, is what it sounds like, right?
Well, yeah.
So and he imposed some sanctions because of that death?
Yes.
Is that what they're talking about?
That's what they're saying. We've had some sanctions before. I think we've made it very clear we're not going to try to battle them, but they know that we're funding the war.
If that guy won, Alexei, I assume that our relationship with Russia would be better.
Yes.
And then
The war
probably
would
the
stop.
world.
And
So
the war would stop.
the war would stop because he was anti-war.
But he's dead now, so it doesn't matter.
I know. And that's why everybody's probably pissed off. He didn't even get a chance. He probably wouldn't have won and probably would have been stacked against him anyway.
There's no way he would have won. They would have stacked the ballots. They would have done something where they would have killed him.
Yeah. God.
And a lot of people are protesting. They're just throwing him in jail for protesting.
Yeah.
I was on a podcast the other night from a gentleman in Thailand. It's the worst investment.
Thailand,
the worst investment ever was the name of the podcast.
Oh,
I did
interesting.
I did our storage deal. But
that makes sense.
Yep. And he was like, what's interesting, he lived in Thailand for 31 years. He's from here. He was a finance tech guy in California. He's a little bit older, so he's been living there probably half his life. And he's like, the thing about the United States, good, bad, but he's like, they're the only country that like you can literally say whatever you want. Like the freedom of speech is like nobody else can do that in any other country. Like you can just say whatever you want and protest and do whatever and not like get put in jail. Like you can protest here as long as you're doing it like on the right places and at the right things. They're not going to put you in jail, but everywhere else they do. He's like, it's the biggest difference in the United States and all the other countries he's visited and been in is we can actually say what we want, the freedom of speech thing. And he had a theory that as soon as they go after the First Amendment and like say you can't do like some type of hate speech or something like that, they like try to curb it there. It's just going to grow and then we'll lose that.
Well, that's what everybody thinks. Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen. He wasn't like saying anything good or bad, just observation.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
But what's up? We got Morgan on here. We got Tucker Carlson. Oh no, Tucker Carlson, Luke's boy. I don't know why I said that. It's not your boy.
No.
You just jealous because his hair?
He does have a good flow. I think he's got that
like a mop.
SEC conference flow.
He does.
Yeah.
I could see him like drinking like in like those like in a, like
boat shoes, white shorts,
Yep.
like thigh high, and drinking a White Claw.
and then like driving like a yacht in like a no wake zone and just hitting it hard.
Drunk.
Yeah, like making the waves like somebody's trying to fish in the corner, like on like a little paddle boat.
Whoa!
Yeah,
maybe
I
like
could
a
see
little
that.
sailor hat on.
Yeah,
I can see that too.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, the last little segment we're going to get to before we get our esteemed guest on. I'm going to try to read this and not look at it, so it's better for the short. All right, ready?
Good luck.
Google's AI was shut down because it didn't show white people.
Banger.
Banged it.
Mic drop.
We're going to be able to edit in between that. But so I saw this and I didn't know if this was real or not because like I follow the PBD show. I would like to get on it one day. The David Bett show. And I see like they're like a news valuetainment thing and, news channels, including him, like radicalizes things a little bit. I saw this as like a headline. I'm like, is that really true? But apparently it is. So we did a little research and looked it up a little bit. So you apparently could not use Google's AI to create an image of a Caucasian person.
So even if you let them know, hey, I want a Caucasian person.
Right, Tyler?
This,
even if you like ask okay.
Yeah.
Well, so so it's shut down though because of that. So I think what they were trying to do is not have every AI image be of Caucasian people, which I think is fine. That's not obviously a bad thing. The world's made up of all kinds of people. So from what I take from what I've seen and reading here, it's like if you want to say, can you create an image of a family hanging out, or can you like just so we're trading general images, it would never create images of Caucasian people.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, who cares really? But obviously,
I wonder how they come up with that. Like this many people in the world, this many of color, and then it's just random, or you think it automatically takes out the white people?
I don't know what it did. It had to automatically take out the white people.
We are pretty boring.
Well, I mean, yes, I get that for sure. You're definitely boring.
But in response, Google said Wednesday that Gemini's ability to generate a wide range of people was generally a good thing because Google has users around the globe, but it's missing the mark here.
Yeah, we're like we kind of auto-corrected a little too far to the left.
Right.
But we'll see. AI is a interesting thing. We've talked about it on a few recent headlines. Just the movement
with Google too.
With Google, I mean, because they're the.
They got to be on the forefront of this, right?
Yeah, they are for sure. I would think Google and Microsoft. I would think on the top, and then they're
laying off thousands of jobs because
and
that's so like ironic to me. Like,
and OpenAI is Microsoft owns 49% of it. I think, is that right?
Yeah,
I think so. So OpenAI, Microsoft has OpenAI side of it, and Google kind of has their own side of it. So from what I understand, the two leading people in the AI, two leading companies are OpenAI and Google, and Microsoft is linked with OpenAI. So it's Google.
They're both going to do big things in it.
Yeah, it's going to work. It's very interesting.
Why do you think they chose like that picture? That's a robot, right?
Mm-hmm. Because AI is robots. What do you mean? What else are they going to pick?
Because AI is robots? Is that what you said?
AI is not robots?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily think it's just robots.
Well, it's not human.
correct. It's artificial.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what image would you prefer up there, Lucas?
I don't know. I'm just asking. Like, are they like insinuating something here, or is this like something in particular? They're rolling out these robots.
No, I think that's just what they're using to say it's technology.
Okay. Yeah. Tech.
Got the spinal. So AI is very interesting what
Spinal.
they're doing with it. I talked about this a little bit last night, Lucas, and then we'll get our boy up here. But with the AI and technology, information is going to be completely devalued. Like I really do think, Lucas, in 5, maybe 10 years, maybe less, you'll be able to walk into a house with your phone and it will tell you the freaking rehab. But it'll be able to do crazy stuff. But the implementation, the community that we're building with Faster Freedom and like stuff like this, you can't obviously repeat or replace this. But figuring out, problems or issues or finding out information is going to be like crazy. What they've done with AI in the short period, it was nothing, and now they can do full-length movies with 32 words like we showed last week. It's pretty wild.
Country westerns, right?
It's going to continue to keep going.
Woolly mammoths.
Woolly mammoths. They're making a comeback,
They're making
bro.
a comeback,
Just
I heard.
like the Kim Kardashian story
Yeah, don't call it a comeback.
on her back. Get it from that? Have you seen that from the Parks and Rec, the little outtake?
I haven't, but I understand the joke.
So you know
now.
who Chris Pratt is?
Yes.
So I'll replace for you. So Chris Pratt was like, it was like an outtake because everybody laughed. But somebody was like, they were talking and they're like, yeah, the good old comeback story. And people were like, yeah, Seabiscuit and the Mighty Ducks and all this stuff. And he's like, Kim Kardashian. And they're like, what? And then he's like, yeah, in the video there was cum on her back. And then like the whole cast lost it and they couldn't use it. But that was pretty funny.
That is good.
He's
Yeah,
hilarious.
he is funny.
All right. Let's get him going. Get your butt up here, Michael. We'll introduce you as we get the ball rolling.
What's
So we
up,
got
bro?
Michael Kitko coming on. We introduced you a little bit earlier, but how we introduce you, Michael, throw those headphones on, is, and I want you to elaborate on it a little bit, but we introduce you as author, coach, and
Speaker.
It's kind of the 3 buckets. I mean, obviously the mastermind Luke talked about a little bit, but was that an accurate way to describe you?
Yeah, podcaster as well. But
Okay, yeah, podcaster too.
You hit all the buckets.
Yeah, we hit we hit some of the buckets.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
all of
you
them.
You hit the big ones.
Good, big one's
and,
perfect.
And I'm a married man. I'm a
married-
husband. I'm
Yep.
a father. So we got a couple more buckets, but
Yeah, you're a lot of things, and we like to make the joke of, try to keep it 6 inches away from your mouth, and Lucas tells Ashley this is 6 inches, so just keep it.
this is 6
Try to
inches.
keep
Yep.
it 6 inches.
This is actually 8.
So we make that joke every time. But you're a podcaster, you know how that flows. So, Michael, we're going to do a couple icebreakers with you. Then I'm going to put a picture on the screen. I'm going to want you to tell me about that picture.
All right.
And you can see that screen right there is the same that's on there, so you can just look up there when the picture comes up.
Let's
all right.
rock.
All right. So, Michael, what is your favorite emoji?
The one with the tears coming out of the face, the smile,
The laughing one?
laugh. Is that what's
And
called?
it, like,
Laughing
spins?
emoji?
The side one or the flat
No,
one?
well, I
There's
usually
two now,
go.
right?
I usually go side,
Yeah.
flat, side, flat.
Oh,
like
that's
I
a-
stagger them.
Mine spins, so it's
Because you're an
not
Android, Luke. Nobody cares about your
Well, wouldn't you
Android
want a
phone.
spinning
No, that's
emoji?
too
No.
Then you don't have to
aggressive.
worry about if it's up and down or to the side. It's all of those things.
No,
Sam.
it's not.
No, there would be no problems in the world if Android phones just went away.
Yes,
I mean,
correct.
it would solve
I
everything.
heard. So we got light green messages, right? I heard they're going to blue.
Oh yeah, well, good for you guys.
It's gonna fix a lot of things.
Yeah. What's your favorite emoji, Walls?
Oh, the ones I use the most are the laughing, crying face. I use the wink face a lot when I'm telling
you
like a
would.
little
You're
joke.
so funny.
Yeah. Thumbs up's a great one, and then that one where a lot of people say it's like high fives or the praying.
Yes.
So I use that one too. Like thank you.
I use the praying a lot. I don't understand this one.
I think this is clapping.
it's
This is clapping, and I think this is supposed to be high five or praying. I don't know which one.
I got-
Do
I
we
got
know
the
what
praying.
that is? Tyler, can you look it up? Is this praying or is this high fives? I don't think it's praying. I don't think they
I
would do
use
that.
it
They
as
stay
that.
away from that kind of stuff.
I use it as that.
You use it as
thank
praying?
You. Yeah.
Yeah,
like a
I do as
thank
well.
you. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Michael, you asked them next one, Lucas. These are 3 icebreakers. We're trying to
All right.
icebreaker segment to get the ball rolling, which we don't really need with you, but
All right. Your phone wallpaper. What is it, and is there a story behind it?
No, there's no story, and it's just a standard. The globe, the world, like the
Interesting.
typical Apple, just preloaded
Really?
screen. Yeah, nothing
Yeah.
I'm
crazy.
surprised you have something motivational in there. Or
Yeah,
a picture
me
just
too.
don't
it's
give a
just-
shit.
no, I'm pretty boring, man.
Yeah.
It used to be black wallpaper. There was a time for a bunch of years I had a picture of my family, but
Yeah.
but it was so old and we had changed so much. I took that down and I put the globe up or the world, and it just never went back.
So it's
Nice.
black wallpaper, so it couldn't have been done by Google, or it could have been done by Google's AI. Could have been.
On my laptop, it's just a plain black screen.
There you go.
That's it.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, Luke, what's yours?
Like that, right?
Yeah.
Picture of my family
On the beach, your
on the
favorite place
beach
in the world?
with my socks off, unlike you on the beach.
I don't wear socks on the beach.
Yes,
Michael.
he does.
That's a
It's
topic.
gross.
I can't believe
It's an
weird.
overused thing that Lucas thinks is funny.
Weird.
I've
is
heard
what
it before.
Yeah, because from him.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean it's true.
It doesn't come from you.
Doesn't mean it's true. All right, last one. Does your car have a name?
No.
If it does, what is it?
No, actually, it is. A Q. It's just Q. Angie, my wife Angie and I call our Infinity Q, and we call our Wrangler Willie because it's a Willie's.
Yeah, that's dope. I love
That's
that.
not
Yeah.
too bad.
I don't name them, but my son named all of ours.
What are they?
So my wife's she's got a black Wagoneer, and Drake calls it Black Beauty.
There you go. I love it.
I love
Nice.
it too.
like a horse.
My truck is Rocky,
Okay.
and my vet is Zuma or Zoomer.
Zoomer.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
And suddenly I feel so generic and like plain.
Well,
yeah,
you
it's
want to
okay.
come up with some cool ideas. You talk to a 7-year-old. Like, their minds are wild.
Yeah.
They-
Yes.
when one time my daughter was in soccer and the kids team or the kids named the team and they were the Green Diamonds.
Nice. I like it.
Well,
It has
okay.
some stickability to
Yeah,
it.
I like it. Let us know where you're from. We got India up there, so keep letting us know where you're from, as well as throw any questions you have for Michael. We may ask him. But all right,
What
Mike,
about you, Sam?
We named cars growing up.
Yeah,
but
I
we
mean,
don't.
your Jeep had a name, didn't it?
Jasmine, I think.
Jasmine.
Yeah, but I don't. Nothing else. I have names.
She
of
was
anything.
beautiful.
She was beautiful.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Been through a lot.
Yeah, it has.
Rode hard. Put away.
We'll leave it in there, but yeah, she was.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, we're going to put up a picture on the screen. I want you to describe this person to me.
Oh wow, that person was that was an absolute asshole.
Okay.
That guy was that guy didn't. I didn't really love anybody.
Okay.
I didn't like anybody. I didn't love anybody. I ridiculed everybody.
Okay.
I mean, take a look at that guy, and that guy at no point thought he should have had anything figured out. I was abusive to myself, physically, mentally, emotionally abusive to my wife, my kids. My wife and I literally we had our typical MO was going out and just making fun of people. Like we would find fault with everybody we came in contact with, and really what it was is I felt so worthless that I was looking for a way to feel valuable in some way, shape, or form.
Kind of like one of those like misery loves company kind of situations where you're miserable, so you want to make other people miserable with you.
Well,
you think?
in the world, we say there's two ways to get to the top of the mountain. What is it? It pulls somebody down or climb yourself, right? Or what is it? I can't remember exactly what it is, but you can either tear somebody down or you can climb yourself.
Yeah.
Right. But in order to get on equal footing, but that guy had no self-worth and no self-esteem. I mean, no one looks like that and truly like absolutely loves themselves. No one neglects themselves to that level and really has a healthy sense of self-respect or self-esteem. So that, from the time I was a kid, I was always trying to find like some sense of purpose and some sense of worth and value. And I looked for it in money, and I looked for it in titles, and I looked for it in the corporate environment, and how many people I managed and how much authority I had, and in the Marine Corps, and that was a play to go and try to find some sense of self-worth and value and in the world, and I couldn't find it. So I just everything just went to shit.
Mm-hmm.
How long ago was that picture?
That was 20. That picture was probably somewhere around 2012.
2012, about 12 years ago, a little bit.
Yeah. So we're right 13 years ago.
Yeah.
We moved to St. Louis. It was pre-St. Louis. And the reason why that time frame's pretty fuzzy. That was in Oregon. We lived in Oregon, right outside of Portland, and that was in Portland, and we moved here in 2013. So it was probably somewhere in the 2012 range.
Okay. And for the listening audience that's going to hear the recording, that was a picture of Mike, 12, 13 years ago. A good 100 pounds heavier, 75 pounds heavier?
Yeah, a buck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 100 pounds. So I was right. I weighed in right around 300 pounds for about 5 or 6 years.
Real quick, Shane, stand up real quick. How much do you think Shane weighs?
Come on, guys.
I
I don't even know Shane, and now I'm going to...
Yeah, I know. This is what we do here.
$165.
That's what Lucas said.
Yeah.
He's 210. He's a solid
Holy shit,
man.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe
He's got
how
thick legs.
He's muscular.
He's thick.
Muscular.
And he's a thick soul.
Yeah,
Yeah,
muscular.
man.
Because he's not overweight, but 210. He's
Yeah.
put together.
Yeah, no kidding. Muscle weighs more than
Exactly.
fat, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he's dense. Anyway,
Shane,
goodness.
sorry we couldn't show you to the world.
Yeah, shout out to Angie real quick.
Yeah, see that comment there at
yeah.
the bottom when she saw the picture.
Oh wow, yeah. And she also said green texters ruining group text everywhere.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure that I knew she had to say something about
She
that.
knows what's up.
Yeah.
She knows what's up. So that's what we're going to get into today, Mike. This is our questions for you. It's just blank. We're just going to jam, and we're going to talk about your story and try to inspire other people and try to motivate people to look at themselves differently if they're not where they want to be. Because obviously a lot of people aren't where they want to be, and that's okay. That's part of the journey. But let's all jam together and try to motivate some people.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I don't know what questions are coming, so we're just going to go wherever.
I don't know what questions are coming.
I bet you have a little more knowledge than I do, but no, we'll just go wherever it takes, and we'll try to make the world a better place
For
today.
sure, man. Well, I think number one, let's talk about the story in general. So that was 12 years ago,
Yep.
living in Oregon, and then you moved to St. Louis. Maybe talk about why you moved to St. Louis, and then your first few years in St. Louis, and then starting to get into that awakening period a little bit.
Yeah, so let's go back to my wife and I met in abnormal psychology class. I had just gotten out of the Marine Corps, and I was just taking a couple classes. I think that's probably the best place to start the story. I was just taking a couple classes, trying to spend some GI Bill. I'm a learner. I love learning. I'm just
Theoretical.
I'm absolute high theoretical. I'm always learning. So I was just I had my bachelor's. I was taking some classes, and we met in abnormal psychology class. Didn't really appreciate each other, but and here there's a funny part of the story. At the end of our class together, I every day I would say, "Hey, guys want to go out and grab a drink or something?" To the kids in the class. In the Marine Corps, that's what we did. After work, we went out and had a couple beers. I'd say, "You guys want to go out for a drink?" And everybody would say no. So, but at the end of class, at the end of when the semester ended, she called me and she said, "Hey, guys want to go out? You want to go out and grab a drink?" And I said, "Sure." So she said, "Me and my fiance are going to go out." Like, yeah. So I joined her and her fiance, and then she came home with me and never left.
Okay. Boom.
That night.
Well,
that's crazy.
Literally, I went out with her.
That is a 180.
Her and
Yeah.
her fiance, and she came home with me, and she never left.
So she probably said yes and didn't mean it when he asked.
So it didn't. Our relationship didn't get started in a healthy way, right? Literally,
Yeah, that's not a healthy way to do it.
No, she came home, moved in with me, and everything just started. Like we bought a house, bought cars, and stuff like that. So it just went really fast. But anyway, we moved from she got pregnant, we got married. We moved from Maryland to Oregon. So and we lived in Oregon for 10 years, and that was we were closing our corporate. I was a corporate employee. We closed our corporate field office, and they moved 3 of us across the country to Oregon.
Yeah.
So it was a good move. And
So like 2002-ish?
that was 2002. We moved
Yeah.
out to we moved out to Oregon. Absolutely. So, I worked with a company for about 13 years, and I thought, I was very proud of that company. I thought I'd be with them for a long time, but the promotability, I've got this. I wanted to keep moving up the ladder, and it was a search for self-worth and self-esteem. But I got recruited by a company called Stanley Black & Decker to come and run a manufacturing plant. And they handed me the keys to a $65 million plant. And that's when I felt like, okay, like I got something.
Big dog.
I got something going on here. And that's when I became even more power hungry and money hungry, because I was there for a couple years. We did a 180 with that plant. We turned like a dying.
Where was that plant at?
It was right outside of Portland, Oregon.
Okay, so this was in
Portland.
Oregon too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a dying asset, man. That thing wasn't really doing well from a cash basis, and within 3 years we turned it around. It was one of the top performing cash flow companies in the entire fleet. So again, that the low self-worth started showing up in arrogance and like really unhealthy pride.
Yeah.
I started getting recruited, and I got recruited to a company here in St. Louis. So we made a move in 2013. Again, more commas, more zeros.
Yeah.
Just show me the money. I don't
More
care.
ego.
I don't care what the industry is. I'm undefeated. I'll figure anything out. I didn't know what I was getting into, and I was completely in the wrong element. It was just a chase for money and just a chase for the biggest package. And 20 months later, I was unemployed. So I got fired. And I looked like that. I was 300 pounds. I was drinking like crazy levels of alcohol, just to soothe and just to escape. My wife was in pharmaceutical addiction. Our kids were raised in it's a
mess.
Combative environment. Everything in our life, there was nothing good except we had a lot of money coming in.
Yeah.
And we lived this Facebook life where we were always going outside the country. My 11-year-old had been to Mexico and outside of the country 8 times. We were just always traveling, and that's the only really thing. But when we go on vacations, everything was awful. It was just the conflict didn't end because we moved geographies, and we kept thinking that if we moved to a place, we'd eventually stop arguing and stop fighting, and things would sort out. But wherever you go, there you are, right? But we moved to St. Louis. Fell in love with St. Louis like immediately.
It felt like home, like right away for you guys.
Right away. We loved St. Louis, and we'll never leave. We love this area. We live in St. Charles, Missouri right now, right outside of St. Louis. Absolutely love the area. I've lived in all 4 time zones. My favorite by far.
That's awesome.
So 20 months, I was unemployed. My marriage was falling apart.
That's like, what do you think, like 2014?
That was 2014.
Yeah.
That was 2014. That was August of 2014. My wife and I had separated for 5 weeks. She went back to the East Coast. There was some infidelity and a whole bunch of stuff that was going on in the marriage, and I lost my job. We were separated for 5 weeks. I had a 5-month severance. So when she came back, I got a 5-month severance from the position that let me go, and we literally drank for 5 months. And I would do a little job searching, but happy hour every day. And by the time we picked our girls up off the bus stop, we were just tanked. And that was a regular occurrence. We drank for 5 months, and I got a job just as the severance ran out. Another executive level position, jumped in and was running a manufacturing plant, a firearms manufacturing plant. It was like dream job. It was awesome. And I was there for about 15 months before I was upside down again. My wife was still in pharmaceutical addiction. That started to ramp up. I was drinking even heavier. But again, these positions, I couldn't lead myself. I couldn't lead my family. So I couldn't lead the manufacturing plant either. And that's when I knew that something had to change because fired once, got it. Fired twice, something's got to shift. And you can call it the big reset. I mean, it just one day I was suicidal, almost killed myself. I literally stuck the barrel of a gun in my mouth, and still remember the taste of what that barrel tastes like. And I didn't have the courage to pull the trigger. When I pulled it back out, I knew something in life, like everything that I ever learned about everything got me here, so it's obviously not correct. Because and that guy in that picture, I thought I was right and everybody else wrong. I thought if you disagreed, if we had 2 positions, then you were obviously misinformed. And unhealthy pride, ego, arrogance, whatever. I mean, inflated sense of self, whatever it is. And at that point, I knew all of that was garbage. And I went on a journey of, working out and meditating and exercising and journaling and reading personal development books and spiritual books and just exploring anything about anything that could make me a better man, a better husband, a better father, a better, more fit, more healthy, more loving, more successful. Anything. I just wanted to learn anything about anything, and I did that. And I probably in over the next 2 years, I probably read 200 to 300 books. Literally, I just threw myself and immersed myself in that. And my wife, when I started this personal development journey, she didn't like it.
Can we stop here and break down, because I think let's break down this first half, and then let's break down the emergence, kind of the Phoenix uprising that you kind of went on. So, by the way, you're getting some love up there. People in the Midwest are nicer. Somebody asked who it is, Mike Kitko, and Morgan up there saying sorry you had to go through all that. So you're getting some love. You're getting some love up there. So
can I address that?
Yeah.
Sorry that I went through that, but I think you'll hear that was all purposeful and meaningful, because it taught me a lot about what doesn't work so I could learn what does work. And that all of that stuff that I went through has been meaningful and impactful to this world. So it's a blessing.
I would call it necessary.
Necessary. Absolutely absolutely required.
Some of the stuff we have gone through, and we're going it's necessary to make you. We wouldn't make the adjustments if we didn't go through it. So it's not like whatever you want to call it. It's like the best way I can describe it is necessary.
fail often, fail fast, fail forward, right?
As long as you learn, you're not failing.
That's right.
So something we talked about a little bit, I really like, and I want to break down with you a little bit. You mentioned it earlier, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but I thought about when you said you moved. I think Luke will know where this is going. You kept moving locations to try and change who you were and what the situation was. And we're big on, we talked about it a little bit because we love St. Louis too, but environment over location. It's all about your environment, because your environment can be anywhere, but location is, environment's going to follow you no matter where you live. So we're big on environment over location. So I want your thoughts on that, and I'll let Louis round it out.
I love that. I mean, we just took an abusive family and we just moved it multiple places, because the abuse it started early on with just between me and my wife, and we would, or at that time, my girlfriend turned fiance turned wife, whatever.
Somebody else's fiance to your girlfriend.
Somebody else's fiance to my girlfriend. Well, I don't even know if I ever asked her to be my girlfriend. She just was. But anyway, it started early, and I remember being in a car it was me and my girlfriend at the time, whoever my live-in, whatever you want to call her, and we were with another friend, and Angie said something that was counter to what what I had just said, and I remember talking really shitty. Don't you ever correct me in front of another, and my friend was right there.
Oh, you did in front of him.
Yeah, and I'm like, don't you ever correct me, and blah blah blah, and it was like. That's the guy that I was. I mean, I can't even imagine being that guy now, and I can't. I mean, it's so hard to think about how much pain that guy was in to do that to another human being that you supposedly love.
Hurt people.
We
say that a lot. You sound like you were kind of a douchebag, Mike.
I was an absolute douche, man.
Yeah.
I was
Glad you're not anymore.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yet to be determined, but
oh, stop it.
But no, I mean, hurt people. If you're hurting people in the world, it's only because you're in pain yourself.
We see that a lot. Just running it back to us with social media and stuff like that. It's just, and I get asked a lot of all the hate we get, and then people that are starting to grow their media following. How do you react to it? And it does hurt, but it's also hurt people, and it's 100% a reflection on them. It has zero to do with anything we post or say. So that's part of it.
Well, I mean, from the social media side, think about it this way: the people that love me, they fill my net worth, right? They build my net worth, and the people that don't, they build my algorithm. So
there you go.
So
Building either way.
I win either way.
Yeah.
Cool.
Got
any follow-ups on that?
Oh man,
I just wanted to round out
good.
that, Mike, and before we move on to the new Mike.
Yeah, I'm excited to get to talk about the transformation, and maybe I can hit on that a little bit. But man, I ask a lot about timelines, because you're not, I would call a young chick anymore, right? And this transformation happened in your late 40s.
43. It started 43.
Okay, so mid 40s, and just I don't know. It's just, I'm so thankful that you went through that and able to transform your life in such a dramatic fashion. But I feel like that's not the typical case for most, unfortunately. And if they get stuck in a rut, it's almost like that until they die. I don't know. So I just wanted to give, and maybe it's because they're not in that much pain, and because you had to get to that point where it happened, that transition happened. But man, I would love to be able to, some people have a tough first part of their life, whatever it is, and then figure out it's not working and then transform. I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
I do. I have a lot of thoughts on that. The reason that we're going to back up. Ooh, I just hit my headphone. I'm going to take a step back for a second. We're surrounded by entrepreneurs, and it's really easy for us to get lost in the typical entrepreneur world, thinking that that's just typical, right? You guys know what I mean by that. We have time freedom. We set our schedule. We set our calendar. We're
don't need to focused on self-improvement, self-development.
We invest a lot in ourselves.
We've got ups and downs with our businesses. Yeah, it's wild ride.
Successful entrepreneurs celebrate each other, right? Yeah. We share in each other's challenges and try to help each other, and we win together, and we celebrate each other. We want everybody to win. We've got a lot of time freedom and a lot of financial freedom, and we have a lot of impact in the world, and we help a lot of people, and it's really easy for us to get lost in that. For me, thinking that that's just typical, but it's not typical. It's so atypical, and most of the world is living the 9 to 5, the hate Mondays, love Fridays, look forward to vacation, putting in vacation requests, right? Just doing stuff that they hate so that they can make money that they think is going to provide security. They're in marriages of obligation where the two individuals are trying to get the other person to make them happy. This is the typical person is in a lot of pain, but not enough pain to do anything different.
Right.
And there's a lot of people who live very, very average, mediocre, mundane lives and never do anything differently because there's not enough motivation to make a substantial enough change to get out of mediocrity.
So you were so extreme that it forced you to make a change. Most people don't go that extreme, so that potentially maybe don't make that change.
When there's enough pain, there'll become a reason. There'll be a reason. But if there's not enough pain, most people just keep settling and just keep moving forward, shuffling for security, right? If I wouldn't have gotten fired the second time, I'd still be employed somewhere. I'd still be 300 pounds. I'd still be in an abusive marriage probably, right? I'd still be a not.
Or you might have went back to the trigger, you know what I mean? You never know.
Yeah.
Could have been even worse than that.
But either way, if I wouldn't, the guy who fired me, wonderful human being. The guy's awesome. And he taught me a lot. And after I hit the reset and all this stuff started coming into play, I messaged him. I said, "Hey man, can we go out to lunch?" And I think he was like, "What are you going to do to me? You're going to attack me?" I was like, "No man, I want to thank you." And I literally sat down with him. I said, "Man, you saved my life. Like, if you felt any regret over, firing me, you literally saved my life. You provided the greatest service to me, and you helped me more than anybody on the face of the planet because of you, I didn't end up in a grave. And without you pushing me out the door, I don't know where I would be. My wife might be dead because she was, swallowing 400 to 500 pills a month. I mean, it was so bad. Something radical needed to happen. Yeah. And the more pain, the more purpose. The more pain, the more reason. The more pain, the more motivation. And I just sometimes, with my clients, sometimes it's not about helping them avoid the fall. It's about helping them fall faster and fall harder and get hurt.
Fuck up quick
more.
so I can fix you.
Yeah, let's go.
Skin those knees.
You're not implementing. You're not doing the changes. You're not implementing. You're not doing things differently. Good. At some point, it'll get so hurt. You'll be so hurt. You'll be in so much pain. You'll have the motivation to do something different. And sometimes we just live. The average human being lives a mediocre life because there's not enough to make them do anything different.
Yeah.
And that is the reason why I have been much better about not letting negative things on social media, because people like in your state, how could I be mad when you're that hurt, when you're drinking like that, when you're doing that, yelling at people? Like, that's a lot of the times that's the type of the people that are negative online. So I got sympathy for you, not like anger towards you. You know what I mean? If somebody is coming at me or coming at anybody on social media commenting and things like that.
Yeah, they're just miserable and they're just sharing their misery.
So I
with
feel
you.
sorry for you, not like, hey, I hate you.
I don't even feel sorry for them.
Well, yeah.
They can make some changes.
They can, yes.
Anybody can. So there's a difference. This is a whole different topic, Sam.
I love it.
All right. So there's a difference between pity and sympathy and empathy and compassion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Pity and sympathy is like, I feel bad for you. You've got a challenge. You've got a problem. I feel bad for you. Now both of our lives suck. Empathy and compassion is, you've got a problem. I see that. I recognize it. I'm here to help if you want it, but I'm going to keep living my awesome life while you sort out your challenges. Mm-hmm. And if you ask for a hand up, I'll give you a hand up, but I'm not going to reach down if your hand's not out to help.
I'm not going to jump down there with you.
No, I'm not going to jump in a hole with you so that both of our lives suck. That's pity and sympathy. That serves no one. Now everybody's life sucks together. Mm-hmm. Somebody's got to stand outside the hole and throw a rope in and pull them out. That's empathy and compassion. But if the person doesn't grab the rope, you can't fucking do anything.
No, you can't.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Cool. All right. I got one thing for him, then we'll get to the upbringing. Back to that, what was that, the turn was in
2014 into 2017.
2014 was the first termination. Yeah. 2016 was the
So 2016, we'll get into. Okay. So real quick, I love this. Why do you call Lucas 50-50?
50-50.
I love this.
So
and why we call Steve 50 now.
Yeah, we'll get into that here in a second, correct.
So some people live at the extremes, right? Mm-hmm. So our friend Brian, right? There's people that are really, really peaceful. and there's people that are really, and when I say peaceful, I'm talking about, you see in their demeanor, they're really calm, they're really cool, they're really collected, and
Like
then
centered
and then there's people that are just like, and they're just running around. Well, our friend Brian is really like grounded. And Sam is like freaking, and Sam's always running around here, and he's got the energy, and he's always intense. And Luke is like right in the middle, right? He's like fitty. He never gets too far calm. He never gets too far chaotic. He's like right in the middle. And I see Luke is like that with everything. Luke is so centered. And I say that in my mind, Luke is the best leader I've ever met. You know, where that fitty. Now there are better managers, there are better teachers, there are better trainers,
Coaches,
there are better coaches, there's better everything. But I've never seen a better leader, and it's because there's enough enough self-awareness to kind of like collect himself and like reflect and not make an impulsive decision, but make an urgent enough decision to move the needle.
Shit, his disc is 50-50. Your disc, the whole thing's kind of close to the middle.
That damn thing's 7 years old now.
Well, it's not going to change a lot. I tried. It doesn't change a lot.
I tried. You tried to
I tried twice to change it. It didn't fucking change.
And Sam, when I took my assessment, and it was probably the 5th time I've taken it, I gave it to Brian, and he says, you know, I could scratch your name out and put Sam Prim here.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
I
so
can
we're both like
definitely
high
some
D, high I.
similarities,
Yep, high D, high I, low SC. Awesome. Okay, Lucas, why don't you prompt the kind of turning point?
Let's talk about that transformation. As you started your journey, reading all those books, and if you need a recommendation on a book, Mike is the best person to go to ever, because he's more than likely read it in the past.
Probably.
Yeah, so
Probably.
probably the best book recommender I've ever came across.
Hey, we didn't add that. We got husband, we got podcast, we got coach, we got mastermind leader, we got book recommender.
Yeah. I'm like a book doctor. It's like if I listen, I'm listening for a diagnosis, and as soon as I have it, I'm going to give you. What do
You think about that book right there?
Yeah, I've seen better.
Okay, I have to.
I'm just joking.
I'll give it a C+.
Yeah.
Listen, my friend wrote that book, so that is the best book like on the market.
It's the best book about buying real estate.
And that book is an analogy of real estate and taking fucking action, and figuring out it doesn't have to be perfect.
No, it's not.
The next one's going to be better, because
Yeah,
there's
the
going
next
to be
one I
another
already
book.
got. The next one.
The next one will be better than that.
Debt to Wealth is what it's going to be called. We're just going to call it debt.
But here's what I'll tell you about that book, and this is again, this goes back to that entrepreneurial thing. Sam launched that book. When it was announced, I bought a bunch of them, and I took it to my workshop and started giving them away, because that's what we do.
Yep.
That's what entrepreneurs do. That's what people that are celebrating each other do. I hadn't even read it, and I started giving it out because
I bet this is decent. I know the dude. Here you go.
I don't care. I want to support my man, and I know there's value in here. And I want people to have that value. That's what we do.
Yep.
That's not the typical MO in this world.
Well, in this building it is, but not in this world.
Exactly right.
Kind of that entrepreneur sphere that you were talking about, sphere that you were talking about.
It's really easy. It's really easy to get lost in this stuff and think this is just the way the world works. And
it is, and it takes me. I reflect on that every once in a while, because I feel like every once in a while I take it for granted because it's so normal here.
Totally.
And then you go outside this environment, and I'm like, why do you think like that? Get away from me. I don't want to be around you.
Yeah.
So
Scarcity and taking and protecting, and man, it just we live a really good life.
Yeah,
we're pretty lucky.
We live a damn good life. I love it.
Two things, then get to that. One is, well, somebody said, "What the book?" We're going to put that. What's the book? It's called Own Your Freedom. If you're on TikTok or if you're on Instagram or Facebook, if you just comment the word book, I will automatically send you a DM with the link. It's $4.99 on Amazon.
$4.99.
$4.99. Yes, I make like $1.20 when we do it. It's just about getting it out. And then spear. I'm going spear fishing for the first time in a month.
Tell us about that.
Down in Tampa, I'm going to a mastermind. I got invited on Tuesday. The guy's like, "Want to go spear fishing?" I was like, "Sure, if there's a spot for Marty." He's like, "Yeah, we got an extra spot." He's like, "What do you drink?" He told me to drink, and he's like, "Send me pictures." And so I'm going to go for the first time and go spear fishing on Tuesday night, whatever that is, the 25th, 26th of March. I'm going to be getting those, whatever we're going to throw spears at. I don't know what it is.
Me neither.
Hopefully it's something that deserves it.
Yeah.
Or we're going to eat them. I hope we're not just killing them.
Eat them. to elaborate on that a little bit, there's another gentleman in our office that is doing some type of fishing hunting at the moment right now, and that's Dennis. And he was on the podcast last week, right on the show, and he's hunting gators right now in the Everglades.
That's aggressive.
That is so aggressive. But they asked if they could like record any of it. They're like, no. And it wasn't like because like privacy rights or anything like that. Be like, you need to focus on what you're doing.
Yeah, stop recording. You need to watch what the gator's doing.
We're going to change the name of the business to Faster Kill Something.
Yeah, Faster Killers.
Yeah.
All right, Lucas, go ahead.
All right, so 2016, fired, started your journey, and you probably had some money saved, so you're able to go on this journey.
Yeah.
When did you decide, like, hey, I don't want to get another job, and I want to start helping people the way I was able to help myself with the tools that I learned?
Yeah, well, I had a coach. So I don't want to say I was the only one in this, right? I mean, and that was the mindset shift too at that point, is we don't need to do this alone. Yeah. And I had a friend of mine that I went to business school with, and he had started coaching, and he knew what was going on, and he called me and he said, "Hey, you want some help with that?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love some help." And he started talking about the financial commitment of coaching, and I was like, "What the fuck? You're gonna charge me to be my friend? Like, that doesn't make any sense." But he talked about the difference between a coach and a friend, right? Yeah. He said, "Listen, you can have me as a friend, and here's how that shows up, and you can have me as a coach, and here's how that shows up," right? And he started like telling me the difference, and that was the first time I ever heard about coaching. I never experienced it.
And this is when you were unemployed.
This is when I was unemployed. Okay. So this my friend is calling me to help me become unemployed, but take money in the process so that I could become employed. It didn't make any sense to me, but I said yes. So and he started helping me and like talking about some accountability and just giving me some, I guess, helping me get my head back in the game. Yeah. And just it gave me this cool acronym: OWNER: oxygen, water, nutrition, exercise, and rest. So those 5 are vital to get your body back into shape. Yeah. So breathe deeply multiple times a day. Keep bringing yourself back to deep breathing. Fear and anxiety. Fear and anxiety can't live in a well-oxygenated body, right? Mm-hmm. So just deep breathing. Water, just, half your body weight in fluid ounces every day. Just make sure. Or Celsius. Yeah, that's fine too. But with water, what you want is translucent pee. And with Celsius, you want it as yellow as possible. So
I thought last night, you know what I thought of yet? I didn't do it. A little Celsius and Tito's.
Oh, buddy. That's
what?
Fucking dangerous. It's like a Red Bull vodka.
Well,
I mean, if you want to get going.
If I want to get up, that's what I got to do. All right, keep going.
And with that, it turns green.
Yes, it turns green and syrup's out. Anyways, what's the end?
So half your body weight in fluid ounces, just making sure you're staying hydrated. If it's ever not translucent, you're already starting to dehydrate, right? You're already behind the curve. Too late. Yeah, nutrition, just, you know what serves your body. Just eat good shit. Don't eat bad shit. Just be real with your body. Just give your body fuel. Don't eat for feelings and don't eat for flavor. Just eat for fuel and exercise. Right. At that point, I hadn't exercised in like 5 years. Mm-hmm. So it's just getting back on a treadmill, getting back on the road, just getting back to lifting weights and rest. Right. Just those 5, and just those 5 helped me get some traction in my physical well-being.
I like that.
And getting some traction in physical well-being, what happens is as your body starts to move out of survival mode, your mind starts to quiet. So your mental capacities start to improve and start to increase as well.
My mind's always quiet, Michael.
No, it is not.
It is not. The best thing I've heard about the like nutrition is from Brian. He was just like, I eat food and then I just am conscious how I feel after I eat it. If I feel like crap, then I don't eat it again. And if I feel good, then I'll eat it or go back to it. But he's like, I listen to my body for the 3-4 hours after I eat. It was, even if it may not seem healthy, whatever, if I felt okay, I'm gonna keep going with it. But if it makes me feel crappy, then I'm gonna stop eating it.
But here's the difference, and we could have a show just about this. When I was 300 pounds, I was all inflamed.
Okay.
And I didn't know I was inflamed. Then you drop 100 pounds, and then you're 200 pounds, and then you eat this thing, and you get inflamed, and you start to feel bloating. You always felt bloating at 300. You just didn't know you were bloated.
You need to get to your baseline,
and then you get down to a healthy weight, and then you become more sensitive to certain foods, and then you can start to see which foods inflame you and which ones don't, and that's when you can start to control your circumstances. So anyway, I started meditating, and the mind started to come back into sharper focus, and I started to get more clarity, and I started to get more, everything slowed down a lot, and emotionally I came back into balance, and through meditation you start to feel things that you'd always suppressed, and I cut out alcohol, by the way, and I was meditating, and I started to feel things that I would normally not, try not to feel, and I allowed myself to feel, so I developed a healthier relationship with emotion. And like emotional courage is the willingness, the ability to feel emotion, not the absence of these things. That if you feel fear, you feel fear. You just allow yourself to feel fear, and you train yourself to feel any and all emotions and still be okay, right? You're an emotional being. We are emotional beings, and emotions are going to cycle and surface, and just, we're going to ride this emotional roller coaster. Where we start to get into problems is when we think that we should only feel a certain emotion at all times. So when you feel grief for a second. It'll pass. When you feel fear, when you feel anger, anxiety, when you feel all these things, feel them and let them pass, right? But again, that comes back to emotional courage. But all of these things, when I started doing this stuff and this weird stuff, meditating, journaling, exercising all the time, my family didn't like it. They didn't like it at all.
Got some resistance?
I got a lot of resistance. So my kids, even my kids were telling me that I was making too many changes, and they didn't like what was happening because they knew me as the old guy. They were familiar with it. They understood how to interact with that guy. They understood what to expect with that guy. They understood I was going to pop off. They understood I was going to drink a lot, and they were familiar with it.
Even if they didn't like it, it was familiar to them.
Even if they didn't like it, it was unfamiliar, and we human beings like familiarity more than we like happier and healthier stuff. We just want familiar, right? So I got resistance, and my wife Angie started to ridicule me and heckle me and belittle me and like really attack. And it got so heated, I filed for divorce. And when I filed for divorce, we had threatened, during the course of our marriage, we had threatened a billion times. The D word was thrown around constantly. And I actually filed. And she didn't believe me. She was high, and she didn't believe me when I told her I filed for divorce. And the next day she woke up, and she wasn't high. And when she came downstairs, she was crying. She's like, I don't want to get divorced. I'm like, I had enough. I didn't file to get you to stop attacking. I filed because I'm done with that life. I'm putting the flag in where we are. I'm done with that, and I'm moving forward. And we had some really, really deep discussions, and she went to Narcotics Anonymous that night and started the process. Now she has, for 2 years after that, she relapsed a couple times. She's clean now, but she had relapsed, so she had some troubles. But it was almost like that created too much pain in her life for her to stay the same, right? I was an enabler for all those years. She would be in bed for weeks and weeks at a time, and I would take care of the family. I would take care of the girls. I would get them to school. I would get them home from school. I would grocery shop. I would cook. I would play with the girls, and I would do all this stuff. And I was like cushioning her and allowing her to stay in bed and stay in her addiction. But when I took away that ability to stay in the addiction, that's when she started making changes, right? When I guess made her own up to some responsibility for what she was doing. We didn't get divorced, but what it did is it set us on a journey of finding who we are. I like to say we went to neutral corners, and then we figured our own shit out, and we stopped fighting in the center of the ring. And it was the first time we ever had any peace in our marriage or in our relationship.
And you found out I really like you.
Yeah, well, we found out that we really like ourselves. And then when we started liking ourselves, it's really easy to like somebody else. Yeah. But if you don't like yourself, you're not going to like anybody else. You're going to like what they can do for you, but you're not going to like them.
Yeah, that's a banger right
Yep.
there.
All right, so let's talk about, so you fixed it, and Lucas, again, trying to kind of round everything out and try to, the best I can to tie everything together. Lucas and I have been talking recently quite a bit about how when things are good at home, shit at work is easy.
Absolutely.
When things are rocking at home and you're feeling good, you come to work on a 10 and you go.
Yeah.
So similar, I'm trying to tie that to your home was fixed. It was on its way to being fixed at least, and you guys at least saw that you're moving in the right direction. Relapsed a few things here and there, but you're going together and you're going to figure it out.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about your entrepreneurial journey, because I know this has kind of started when we started coming into the picture, is when you were like starting to kind of take this path of starting to create your own company, your own business, and try to figure that out. So let's talk about the beginnings of that and kind of your growth in that, because I've seen your business grow like crazy in the 5-6 years that I've known you. So let's talk a little bit about that.
So I went on job interviews, about 4 or 5 of them. Okay. We like familiar, man. I was just trying to get back to where I was.
And this is when your mindset has already shifted.
It's already started to shift. And I'm just like, okay, now it's time to make some money, right? Get back and get in financial health. So I started interviewing, and I kept being runner-up. And after about the 4th or 5th time or something, for jobs that I was qualified for, but I mean, my resume was Swiss cheese, but I was qualified for these jobs, but I would be runner up. And after about 4 or 5 times, I'm like, this isn't working for me anymore. I'm done. And I literally told my wife, I said I'm out of the corporate game. I'm going to start a business. And she's like, the fuck you are. You're not.
Get back out.
Get back. We need benefits. We need and this is after we're not getting divorced and we're putting our back together. It scared the shit out of her, but I think I want to back up, because there's something that we didn't talk about. It was when I was sitting at my desk and I was on a coaching call with my coach, and you ever been in that spot where somebody's talking to you and you're not hearing the words they're saying, but you're aware of the interaction that you're having. You know what I'm talking about? The words are just flying by you. I remember being in that spot going, I can't believe I'm paying this guy for this.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm paying this guy to help me, and I can do this.
Yep, that was the light switch.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. But it was like I was unconscious of what he was saying, but I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
Now, what I thought of in that moment is the only thing in my corporate career that I ever enjoyed. And I did 1,000 things every day: managed P&Ls, hired, fired, built teams, trained, coached, run processes, inventory, materials management, environmental health and safety. I did all that stuff. There's only 2 that I ever really enjoyed, and that's developing people and developing teams. That's it. Those are the only things. I would get lost, and you guys, can you put yourself in this spot where you're doing something and you literally get lost in time?
Yeah.
And you just don't want to stop doing it. Well, when someone's sitting in my office and I'm working with them about what their dreams are and about their hopes and where they want to go next and how they want to develop, I would get lost, and I would literally miss meetings. I would completely disconnect with my calendar, with my schedule, and I would miss meetings. I would get phone calls, hey, are you going to come to this meeting? Because I was so focused and I was so present with that employee and with that individual.
Cool.
It is. And I would put myself up against anybody and being able to build a team.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So when I went to Stanley, I had 6 functional leaders. I let 3 of them go and hired 2 back, consolidated responsibilities, and made that the most powerhouse team that I've ever seen in my life. And these guys functioned. They performed, and their MO was give us a problem and get out of here. Like, we don't need you. Like, give us a problem and get out of our way. You're just a burden on this conversation. And they were saying this out of respect that, hey, you built a team. Get the hell out of here and let us work. And
let them cook.
There was no problem that they couldn't solve. This team. And and this is how we turned that business around, right? This operating company around. And I do remember when it was performing at such a high level, and I would give my team problems and they would perform and they would report back what the plan was, the strategy and the tactics and the approach and the timeline. They would report these things back, and I remember thinking, I'm worthless. I'm adding no value to this organization anymore. And I felt like I had no stake in the performance improvement because I wasn't doing anything. And I didn't understand at all what a zone of genius is. That I was in my zone of genius. I attracted the right people, put them in place, developed the team, aligned them, kept them in a rhythm where we were always meeting. We all knew all the wins and challenges we were having across the functions. I would keep them aligned. That organization was humming, and I had built a culture of continuous improvement. Everybody had eyes for improvement, and that was my zone of genius. But I was like, I didn't know what that meant. That stuff was easy for me, so I didn't think it was valuable. And I let's take a second and pause on this one. It was so easy and enjoyable for me. I didn't think it was valuable. I didn't think it was like it was meaningful. And what I mean by that is, up to that point, I thought if it was hard, it was valuable, and if it was easy, anybody could do it.
I have those feelings sometimes too. Like, yeah, exactly the same feeling. Sometimes it's like if things are like popping and we're getting 25 million views on like social media, which again is mainly what I do. That's why I keep relating it to that. But I'm like, this is too easy. Like there's something not right here. Like the algorithm, like it's getting ready to stop because like we're getting all these views and it's so easy. And like I almost like want to struggle to feel like I've accomplished it, but that's obviously not where you want to be. But I understand that.
Maybe it's we're just good.
Yeah.
That period. Maybe it's we're just good and we're in the zone and our talents and our skills are being useful and they're being effective and they're being utilized and they're being valued and appreciated, and we're seeing the results of that. But again, when it's too easy, it oftentimes we think that we got something wrong, that we're not giving enough, that we try to make it harder so that we can feel valuable and like we're moving the needle. So all that to set up, when I was on the phone with my coach and the words are flying by me and I'm sitting there thinking, I can do this. I look back, it's like in that moment I've reflected back to my corporate career and said the only things I ever enjoyed were coaching.
Yeah.
Coaching and developing people. That was it. That was the only thing in the Marine Corps. When I was in the Marine Corps, I did the same thing. I was a leader of Marines, and I loved developing my Marines. I loved it. It's like a passion that I had never really witnessed and understood. So when I told my wife I'm going to start a coaching business, and she's like, what's a coaching business, right? And it got off the ground slowly in terms of I probably decided in, I know you like timelines. Probably October of 2016. So I started this journey. This whole thing started in March of 2016. By October, I knew I was going to start a coaching business. And April is when I signed my first client.
April
2017.
Yeah.
I signed. I was sitting down to coffee with a guy, and I said, "Hey, what kind of problems are showing up in your life and your business?" And he said, I've got big goals. Me and my team have big goals, and I'm struggling to get them all motivated towards our goals. I said, what if I could help with that? He said, what would you do? I said, I don't know. I'll figure it out. I don't know. So I proposed a workshop.
Yeah.
And it was $150. He was going to comp me $150 for an hour and a half workshop. And it was the first sale I ever made on my behalf. And it was like all the weight had just lifted.
It's $100 an hour.
At that point, I was just like, I can't believe I'm getting paid. Like, not hiding behind somebody else's logo and somebody else's brand. This guy is paying me, not a company. This guy's paying me, and that was like kind of liberating.
Yeah.
And from that workshop, actually, there was two. From that workshop, I got my first private client, two private clients, and then the business built pretty quickly after that. And in 2017 or 2018, my first full year in business, I had surpassed any corporate income that I had.
Hell yeah.
In a single year corporate income. So we were already making more as entrepreneurs as I ever made in corporate.
Did you tell Angie told you so?
I rubbed her nose in it a little bit by buying her nice shit.
There you go. There you go. I love it.
What's Angie's one of the nice stuff she likes? What was it? She likes a bag, a particular bag you were talking about.
She's got a pair of boots, and they're called Louboutins. Yeah. So, and I'm just learning about Louboutins, and I learned about them when they showed up at our doorstep.
He's saying Louis Vuitton, right?
No,
Yes.
Louboutin.
Is that a difference?
It's a difference.
Luba?
Louboutin. So it's one word, Louboutin.
They're copying Louis Vuitton, right? Or no?
No.
Or Louis Vuitton copying?
No.
That's like the same words, guys.
You just replace a B with a V.
Yeah.
Not Louis Vuitton. Louboutin. Loub.
Peloton.
Plus, like one of them is a knockoff versus the other. But here's a great question for you, Mike. So this is awesome. So Love by Him said, interesting. He just came across this podcast. He wants to become a life coach, which is very cool. But he said, where do I start? So you're the perfect one to answer this question.
What problem do you want to solve for people?
Okay.
That
Expand
coaches
on that a little bit. Give him a little bit of direction from your opinion, not knowing anything about him.
So typically, there's going to be a problem that you've solved in your own life.
Yes.
And you know how to solve that problem. And there's 8 billion people on the planet, and a good portion of them, millions, probably have that problem, are right now, they're experiencing that problem that you have. And they might be looking for help. Make sure they know that you can help them with that problem. Yeah. So this single line, what was his name?
Loved by Him is what it's just
Okay.
the name. It's handles.
Loved by him.
1983.
Let's just call him LBH.
This line got me to double six figures. All right, this single line. I had no website. I had no business cards, no marketing material, no nothing. But I would network, and I would say these words. I would say, somebody'd say, "Hey, Mike, what do you do?" And I'd say, "Executive leaders hire me to help them feel as powerful inside as they appear on the outside."
Yeah.
And that was the imposter syndrome. So that's what I
Oh, it's a
experienced.
she, by the way. Sorry, we can't see your name. Loved by Him. That makes sense.
Oh,
She. Okay.
got it. Okay.
I thought you were saying your name was Jean Tyler. She. Sorry, we can't tell by your handle. Okay, go ahead.
She's laughing with us. She's good.
She's good.
She.
Yeah, so
see.
it's
Oh,
a
Loved by
female.
Him.
Just so you know, you're talking to a female. I guess
Okay.
what you're saying. Okay.
So, when I was in corporate, I felt like a fraud, right? An imposter, and that's the imposter syndrome. And I started finding my worth, started finding my value, understood my zone of genius, started understanding imposter syndrome. And when I would network and somebody would say, "Hey, what do you do?" I'd say, "Executive leaders hire me to help them feel as powerful inside as they appear on the outside." And then somebody would look at me and go, "Can you help me?"
I don't want anybody to know, but I need help.
And we would have a meeting, and they would, we would come up with a contractual agreement, right? So what I would, loved by him, what I would suggest is there's a problem that you've already solved in your life,
Yeah.
and there's people with that problem. Tell them that you can help them solve that problem so that they can lean into you and have their problem solved. All we are, business owners, all businesses is we offer solutions to people with problems that want them solved. And if we tell them what problem we can solve and they have that problem, oftentimes they'll ask for that solution, and then there's a financial transaction. They get what they want, and we get what we want.
Yeah, I would go as far as saying that the thing that comes the easiest to you when you lose yourself in time is your zone of genius.
That's your zone of genius.
Good
That is
definition of
it.
it.
Yeah, so I would lean into that as well, even though if it's not necessarily a problem you've solved in your life before, but something that you love doing, the thing that comes easiest to you and you don't think is the most valuable, it's just the opposite.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the one. And if you want to be, as long as wanting to be a business coach isn't from, well, it's easy and I can just do it.
Yeah, I see all these other people making a lot of money.
I can just work from home. As long as it's just not a cop out from what you really want to do, you think it's just going to be an easy way to make money, because it's not always easy.
No,
it's not.
Well, yeah, there's
no businesses.
There's this coaching, this education thing, this life coach thing that we're all doing different angles, but the same thing is it's become quite the space of like people just trying to hop in it because the margins look great and they see other people doing it really well and they think it's easy.
Yeah.
And so we're on this movement. I bought some hats. So Make Education Great Again. There's all these that we got the blue hats. We got them bought with our logos, everything, because so many people in this space either haven't done it or used to do it, or so the people that are actually doing it make it look easy, but it's not. Is what I guess I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So when I started this journey, I was networking a lot. And I would network with about 5 or 6 other people that were aspiring coaches, and they all have jobs. Right now, they all have jobs, and I'm the only one that made any money at all in this space.
Yeah,
nice.
It's not as easy as it looks.
It's not.
We all know that.
You've got to have some talent, and you've got to have some courage. You've got to be able to look somebody in the eye and tell them things that they probably don't want to hear.
Yeah. I was going to talk about just a little bit, Mike, about how many members of your community. Do you call them students that are in your group?
I like students.
Students.
Yeah.
So how many students are part of your group right now, Mike?
Right now, overall, we have there's a difference between students and members. We have 75 members, and the reason that there's a distinction is because we have seats, students and seats. So like Lucas is in my mastermind, right?
Yep.
In our community. So Lucas has one seat, but Ashley is also invited into the group.
Yeah.
So she's a member.
That's kind of how FasterFreedom does. If you got a spouse as well,
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So we have 50 seats filled. And we started a couple years ago. I mean, there were 6 of us.
That's a monthly basis, right? That's a monthly deal. Yep.
Yeah. And then there's other things that I do in the coaching space, but the mastermind's kind of my flagship, and that's the one.
That is the flagship. You do some one-on-one, obviously. You got some intensives and some speaking gigs, and we'll get to that. We'll plug your business a little bit before we get out of here. But Of those 75 people, Mike, what do you think what's the main thing that you hear and one of the biggest struggles from any of your students?
Is there a common couple?
Is there a
is what you're
common,
saying,
yeah, one or two that you could point out and help some of these people listening?
Common. Let's see. I think the thing that shows up the most is that I can't be myself and win.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the common theme. I can't just be me and succeed. That in some way, shape, or form, I'm not good enough, or I've got to put that piece of me away, or I can't be that in the world. And it's people that really want to make a lot of money just being themselves and doing what they love, right? And it's kind of goes back to that zone of genius. But for me, it's really just about being, completely authentic, completely real in this world, like being the same person behind, in the dark room as in the light, and make a lot of money by being that person. So we are all entrepreneurs, mostly entrepreneurs, and it's people that just want to step into their authenticity and their genius and succeed from that, not by doing stuff that they hate.
And make a lot of money. It's okay to make a lot of money.
Yeah,
Get rich doing what you love, man. I mean, that to me, that's the key to life. Is I want to get richer, right? And I want to keep doing what I love, so that it's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, they work together.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And something I've noticed in our education business and in the flipping business a little bit as well, you chase money and you can make money, but if you chase helping people, you make way more money, right? It's like almost like the opposite of what you think. It'd be an oxymoron of sorts. Like you try to make money and you'll make money, but if you can put that aside and just try to help people, then you're going to eventually make way more money. You just have to be willing to have the discipline to set that thought process aside for a while, which is hard.
You want to build a business around something other than money
that helps people.
You're gonna stop making money at some point if that is your sole focus.
Impact. Make an impact.
Generational impact.
Generational
you ever heard of that?
impact. Yeah, Sam Prim said that one time.
Yeah.
Generational impact.
Yeah.
And it comes from making an impact in the world. But I will go back to at the beginning of my journey, and you guys probably didn't experience this getting into real estate, or maybe you did. Maybe I'm just dismissing it, and maybe it is true for you.
We'll let you know.
But I started doing what felt really, really good to me, and I did what I enjoyed, and it felt so good. I felt shame for taking money for it.
Right.
It was a struggle for me to actually ask for the transaction because it was so fulfilling. And I had to get over that block. That was a hurdle for me to get over, that I can enjoy this and make money from it. And after I started transcending that, that's when things really took off for me. I'm like, I'm gonna help you solve your problem, and I want to do it, and I'll pay me, right?
Yeah.
See my boy Tim up there, Tim Valita.
Saying rock God.
Yeah, buddy. Rock on. So different but similar. So I remember struggling charging people $2,500 for my mentorship. I remember being the one on the phone, not being able to close them when I'm the one that's on social media just because I didn't have sales skills, and I felt like I was was it worth their time?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, it's $9,500 and should be probably $50,000. So if you want, if you don't pay for it, no hard feelings, but that's your mistake because we change people's lives. So that's so differently. I didn't do it because I didn't have the lack of confidence because I loved it. I just hadn't proven it to myself, and I can't sell something that I don't believe in. But now I know that it's the only way. If you're entrepreneur and want to get ahead financially through real estate, it's the only thing to do. There's nothing else even close to it. So and now we should be charging triple what we're charging.
Yeah, and when you see the impact that you make after a while, you just surrender to the value.
Gino's bought
think
5 houses in 45 days.
That dude's a stud.
Yeah, 5 in 45
Florida.
days.
So he's out of Ohio.
Yeah,
or Indy.
He's kind of Indianapolis.
Out of Indy, and then buying deals in Florida.
Yeah, and
he's a stud.
There's people just crushing it. That's insane.
But yeah, like Mike said, it's sometimes to build that confidence and realize and surrender to the fact that people will pay you large amounts of money for what you have. You kind of got to prove the model a little bit and start to see the value in your product.
Yeah,
because there was a point in time where a $2,500 product might not have been worth $2,500, right? And now we've gone so much further on the other side because we've focused on that value.
Sure.
We've focused on that impact. And because we've done that, we can sell it for whatever we want and feel good about it, because no matter if it's $9,500 or $39,000, it's going to change somebody's life.
Yep.
And there's a price.
And
There's no price tag to that.
Yes, exactly. And that we purposely keep it affordable. I know $9,500 is a lot of money, but do payment plans and everything, keep it affordable to help as many people as we can. And just so we know, because he's on all the time, it's Villata, right? Villata.
Velada?
Villata, yeah. Villata, Villata. Villata. Villata.
Tim Velada.
Tim Villata.
Villata
Gosh,
money.
I don't know why I can't talk, I slur, I mumble, I can't read. I don't know why the hell people listen to me. All right. So Michael, I would like to kind of round this out, and then obviously we'll tell people I get a hold of you, and you're going to hang on for the Would You Rather segment, which is fun. You're going to hang on for the motivation segment, which is fun, and you're going to be the announcer when Lucas and I shoot in the basket, just so you know what's coming.
Sweet.
So one of the things I love when we get together hanging out with you is your grasp of the human language and your adjectives and descriptives, and how you're able to like twist something or make it like some type of way that makes sense by putting words together. And so and to put you on the spot a little bit, do you have like some like sayings that you feel like you've developed or heard that are like super impactful, and that like the one I talked about earlier, like environment over location? I love that. The more you think about it. Do you have certain like sayings or certain like ways you've twisted words before that you feel like are kind of impactful for people?
Yes. So I've got two quotes.
Okay.
These are my favorite quotes. So
Perfect.
you did put
That's
me on
what
the
I'm
spot.
asking. Yeah.
Okay. So one of my favorite words is useful.
Okay.
Like I use the word useful 500,000 times a day. I know where I want to go with my life in creating a vision, and there's things that are useful and things that aren't useful. So when I do that check-in and it's useful, that means it's moving me towards my goal, towards my vision. And if it's not moving me towards my vision, then it's not useful. So just that little check-in, hey, is this useful for me? So anyway, that's the first thing that popped up. But two quotes, two sayings that are on my whiteboard at home, and I'm going to try to remember these. Number one is, the thing you want will not solve the problem that you have. So I want to take a second to unpack this. If you're scared of money, money's not going to solve that fear.
Okay.
That's why there's multimillionaires that wake up in cold sweats in the middle of the night, because they're trying to take something outside of them to solve an internal conflict. So in internal conflict, let's just go real quick. There's insecurity, which is fear of loss. There's inadequacy, I'm not good enough, or I'm not enough. And there's insignificance, I don't matter. And there's times where people are trying to get something outside of them in order to solve a conflict that's inside of them. And the conflict is that there's a story that they're telling themselves that's not true. Right? But the thing that you want won't solve the problem that you have. Don't think that when you get something in your life, it's going to solve this thing that you feel that you lack in your life.
That's a great quote.
So we like, I know where you guys are in your portfolio, and you're going to double it and triple it, not because you have to, because you get to. It's not solving a problem. All it's doing is you're just having fun in the experience of creating more wealth. You don't need more wealth, but it sure is cool to have it.
It's fun
but you don't need it. So you're not trying to solve a problem. You're just trying to create. The thing you want won't solve the problem that you have. Number two is and I told you I was gonna like, after I went on that diatribe, I was gonna forget.
Yeah. I got one in the meantime that I hear from you all the time. It's in knowing the difference. It's not really a quote, but influence versus control.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, knowing the things that what you directly have control over versus what you only have influence over. And people get confused on what those things are and try to control things they only have influence over.
Yes. And you get really, really frustrated when you think you control something that you can't control.
Yes.
And you start to get angry and you start to get irritated. But really what it is you're trying to control something you don't have control over. But also you play victim when you don't control something that you do.
Yeah.
So
it goes the other way.
So it goes
too.
the other way. Yeah. And you start being a little bitch, and you start like blaming people and like trying to like cast guilt and shame, thinking that somebody should do something different. You control the whole thing, but you're not doing it. You're just maybe influencing it.
Yeah.
But it goes the other way around.
Yeah. So just understanding the difference in what you have control over versus influence, and using it both sides. Did that give you enough time to remember your second quote?
He's focused on this stuff.
My mind is on my whiteboard at home, and I've got the two quotes. And right now, I'm struggling to remember what the second quote is. So maybe my wife is at home. Angie, if you could go into the whiteboard
Just sit here awkwardly
in the
and
office
just like not say anything until he thinks of it.
and type in those 2 quotes, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well,
The
if she does
one
that.
I have recently that I wrote down, actually I've written down because I want to do some content on, is an interesting one from Marcus Aurelius. You know that guy? Roman back in the day. Anyways, this is kind of what you said, but the opposite of what you said, but in a different context. So it is what stands in the way becomes the way. I think that's an interesting. What stands in the way becomes the way. So you probably, if there's something, an obstacle that you're trying to overcome, you probably got to figure out how to overcome it and not go around it. I think is kind of what that's saying.
For
Yeah.
sure.
What stands in the way becomes the way. I thought it was interesting.
Ryan Holiday, the obstacle is the way, right?
Yeah.
There you go. That's
That's
that's similar way
that's
to
it.
say
That's
it.
the book,
He probably
right?
took it
Yeah.
from Marcus. Well, Marcus Aurelius was around in Roman times, but yeah, similar twisted. and made it his own.
Ryan Holiday just studies the Stoics and just talks all about the Stoic
Yeah,
philosophy.
yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
it.
That's exactly it. Cool. Awesome. All right. Thank you, Michael. Why don't you tell the people how to get a hold of you? You got a podcast, plug your shit, and then let's get into Would You Rather. This is a fun one.
Plug your shit. I love that.
Well, yeah.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, I got you.
Thanks
Well,
for
yeah,
that.
I guess. I see what you're saying, but you know what I'm saying.
No, it's all good, man. First of all, lastly of all, I haven't been in here since you guys rearranged, man. This is awesome.
Yeah,
You
it's
guys
fun,
did a
right?
New
nice
York and
job.
Shane spent about 30 hours for about 2 months making this all, so.
It's freaking impressive what you
Yeah.
guys, and I remember where you guys were. I want to say that. I remember day one, you guys walking into the building, man,
Yeah.
and what you guys have done and what you've created, the impact that you've made, the lives that you've changed, the team that you've built, and the lives that you change inside these very walls is all like absolutely impressive. And I just want to say that I'm proud of you guys, man. I fucking love talking about you guys, and I love what you've done. You guys
appreciate
are a
that.
big deal in my world, man.
Well, we
Appreciate that, man.
very
We're
much.
proud of you too.
Yeah. For all the listeners and all the watchers, these guys are real. I want like that Dave Ramsey shit, right? And when Sam said, "I'll send you my books," that's for real. Like these guys are not pretending. These guys are not different people on camera than they are not on camera. These guys are authentic. They're real. What they say is true, and they show up as who they are. And that's the most valuable freaking capital in relationships that you could ever build, is knowing that you're going to get the same person in every interaction. So I love you guys. I really do. The plug. My website is Inner Wealth. The business is Inner Wealth Global. So www.innerwealthglobal.com. On there, you can access my podcast. Podcast is called the Inner Wealth Podcast. And
He's
it's
going to type it up there, but yeah.
and there's a lot of me just talking, right? Like mic drops or whatever. But listen, there's a free on the website innerwealthglobal.com. There's a free video course right on the front page, and it's awesome. It'll help you get like really clear about what you want, like let go of all doubt and worry and fear and anxiety and all that internal conflict that'll keep you from it, and it'll help you get committed to what you want in your life, and where you'll move from survival mode to creation mode, and get out of any state of like survival in your life. And every couple months, we run a live workshop to also support that work, and it's called Choose Your Destiny. And
Make sure that's right.
InnerWealthGlobal.com. Yeah, that's perfect. On April 19th and 20th, we're running another workshop here right outside of St. Louis. On June 8th and 9th, we're running one down in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Nice.
And these workshops are 2 days of absolutely life-changing work. So if any of that sounds good, if you're settling in any area of your life, in your health, in your wealth, in your impact, in your relationship, either grab the video course, come jam with me in person, and let's fucking go.
I like it. Awesome. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Hard left. And we've already done this one, so I want your answer. And Mike, you have to pick one. You can't say you can't bend the rules.
Okay.
All right. And you can say why. Would you rather have a cook or a maid?
Maid.
Why?
Because I love cooking.
Okay.
I don't like cleaning.
Okay, we've had this discussion,
We have.
and we both picked maid.
No, cook.
Or we both picked cook just
Yeah.
because he likes cooking more than I do. But it's
I
just
love
like
cooking, too.
imagine not have like being incredible meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner that are healthy, that taste good, that help your body, and then I can deal with some shit around my house. But
Man,
anyways, it's a different opinion.
I love a absolutely clean environment.
Okay.
So we have
Military.
cleaners that come in. I want a clutter-free, dust-free, and we've got cats and dogs. So man, give me a live-in. Shit, the quality of my life would just skyrocket.
Love it.
Rachel Haney, shout out to Rachel Haney. She just sent me her cook. We were talking about it, and they have someone come in for like 1 day a week, and they prep the whole week for like $250 or something. Like
Send me that.
Yeah, I will.
All right, you get the next one, Walls.
All right, sounds good, Mike. Would you rather go into the past and meet your ancestors, or go into the future and meet your great-great-grandchildren?
It's wild. That's a crazy one.
That is a deep question.
Yeah.
Lucas doesn't know anything about deep.
I would
There it is.
I would rather go into the future
Okay.
because I've broken cycles.
Yeah.
And I don't want to meet the people that were part of the cycle. I want to meet the people that got the benefit from me breaking the cycle.
Yeah, I'm future too, hands down.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd rather meet, if it's like my people, I'd rather go like in the future. But if I'm gonna go somewhere and like have to be a fly on the wall and not interact, I think it'd be so freaking cool to go in the past and see like the ancient Egyptians and all that shit that we don't know about. But if I'm interacting with somebody in my lineage, I'd rather go to the future. I agree.
If they're my people,
Yeah,
I want
but
to
if
go.
you're just going somewhere and you're not like you can't talk to anybody, I think it'd be cool going in the past.
Yeah,
but.
like to me, it's like, yeah, it's cool to see how you were made, but to see what you made,
yeah,
Yes, if it's your,
that's
if
it.
it's
that's
your people.
amazing.
That's it. I know. I've seen the change in my children from the work that we're
Yeah.
doing, and I want to see the freaking results of that,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Let's go.
All right. Okay. Last one. Would you rather hear the good news or the bad news first?
First, bad news.
You want to hear bad news first
do.
so I can end on a high note, or
There's,
off the Band-Aid?
There's room to improve, man. There's
That's
room
me
to
too.
there's room to
Hit
improve.
me with the bad news.
Yeah, I feel like
'Cause
that.
it's never like, for the most part, it's like, I don't know, we can handle it, right? One way or another.
Yeah, so we should be asking the audience this. So, audience, would you rather hear the good news or the bad news first? And I gotta think I don't know anybody that would. I don't really know anybody that's going to say good news. Maybe you will, but bad news is everybody says, "Tell me the bad news first." I feel like that's pretty common, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I remember when I was in corporate and I used to go and get job performance reviews, and I didn't want to hear the good stuff. I just wanted to be able to improve. I want to level up.
Mm-hmm.
So you give me the opportunity. You give me the bad news. Now I can do something about it so that things get better. Because I love improving things, whatever that is.
Systems,
Yeah,
people, processes, yeah, very cool.
The few comments up there are bad news for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Tim, my boy Tim. Is there any bad news? It's all perspective. With the winky face, he did your emoji.
And John Barbera said,
Oh, that's a good one too.
it's
The
never
thinking.
it's never that bad. And Tim, it's all just feedback. We just get that. We get the action or not action, right?
That's
And
how
I-
you take it.
Usually
Yeah.
the people that tell me bad news think it's a lot worse than I do.
yeah, for you probably for sure.
I'm like, oh, that's all right. We'll figure that out.
Yeah,
And
most
they're
of the
like,
stuff can
"What?"
be figured out. And this made me think of one thing I want to get into before we get into our motivation. This is an interesting concept I've been playing with in my quiet mind.
Yeah, you don't have
like
a
it's like a
quiet
lake that's nothing is going on. The difference between perception and perspective. We talked about this a little bit. Perception is how I view this conversation, and it's true, but it's only true to me.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's your reality.
It's my reality and it's real, but it's only mine. And that's how most people live their entire lives, when you're able to have perspective and pull yourself and out of the situation
Yep.
and look at it from a third point of view and be able to make decisions and be able to feel things without getting your feelings involved. It's hard to do, but I feel like that's a very, very big strength that we all three have in here, and that's one of the reasons I think we're able to be successful. So I just wanted your take on perception and perspective. It's very interesting.
Yeah, just seeing things from different angles and seeing it from somebody else's perspective besides yours. I was just having this conversation just before I walked in here, where I say, who you are, where you are right now, like in your life. Like, take a look, listeners, watchers, look at your bank account, look at your health, look at your relationships. Look at the difference you make in the world. Look at all of your circumstances. What you believe, what you think, what you feel, your choices, decisions, all of that created this. Mm-hmm. So if you keep seeing the world through that same lens, perception, if you keep seeing the world, you'll keep creating the same thing. But when you get outside of yourself and see yourself differently, then you can start to gain a perspective that'll help move the needle. That'll help shift your circumstances. But as long as you're mired inside of your own perceptions created your circumstances.
Who you are and the choices that you made got you to where you are right now.
I love this. I love this perspective that this is a holographic universe. No, have you guys ever heard that before?
I don't think so. I've heard like we're in a Matrix, all that stuff. I don't know, but this is different.
Tupac hologram.
I don't know anything about Tupac,
right.
man. So my
I think
wife
P.
does.
Diddy called the shot, is what I'm hearing. But all right, keep going.
I don't.
He doesn't.
I'm
know.
oblivious. So we went to Las Vegas, and my wife took us by where Tupac got shot. But dude, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, the rap was never my thing. Maybe a little Beastie Boys, but this world is a hologram, and everybody sees a different subjective reality. Two people look at the same thing, and one person sees ugly, and one person sees beautiful. Two people look at the same thing, and one person sees what they like, and the other person sees what they don't like. Two people go to a symphony, and one person's bored to tears, and one person has an emotional experience. Two people go to a Cardinals game, and one person hates it, and one person loves it. This is not an objective reality. This is a subjective reality, and what you believe and what's going on in your body and in your mind and in your heart and from your experiences creates your perception of what's happening in that moment, right? And as you change, how you view the world changes. As you change inside, as your belief shifts, you see the evidence of your new belief. Mm-hmm. As you change your thoughts, you see a different reality. Your beliefs, thoughts, emotions, your habits, your choices, decisions, that's your personality, and your personality creates your personal reality. Dr. Joe Dispenza is good for that line. Your personality, which is the makeup of all of those things, create your personal reality. And when you change your personality, you will change your personal reality. Reality is subjective. It's not objective. We are each seeing the same world differently. So in essence, we're seeing completely different worlds. Does this make sense?
Yeah, 100%. It made me.
It's crazy to think about.
It is.
Like, because there's how many billion?
8 billion. Over 8 billion.
So that means there's 8 billion different realities.
That's right.
Out there.
And we're all fighting that ours is right.
And not one of them. Well, yeah, depends what your
there's no
definition
such thing
of
as
right.
right. Yeah.
Well, it makes me think like if you have perspective, you can control your perception. You can be like a video game player and control your reality if you have perspective. If you have perspective, you can control your perception. We talk about this all the time. If you want it to happen, you think it to happen, you put actions in to make it happen, and it will happen. You can literally control your future.
Yeah.
And people don't think that way. But you literally can.
Because sometimes we think we influence what we can control, and we can control what we can influence. But Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he's passed, but this simple little quote, man, just sums it all up. It says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Like you're just interpreting the world. You're not seeing it clearly. You're not seeing it for what it is. You're seeing it and you're interpreting it, and you're holding your interpretation like it's reality, but somebody else is interpreting it completely different, and that's why there's arguments. And all an argument is, fellas, two people fighting to see who's the bigger victim. So Dr. Gay Hendricks, The Big Leap.
I like it.
So you didn't remember the quote on your whiteboard, but you came in with like 4 right there. So it doesn't matter.
But those are my 2 favorites, and right now I'm still like trying to grasp, to figure
you're
out.
on the big stage. I get it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right. So hard left. This is one of Lucas's favorite presidents, and this is a quote from one of his favorite presidents. So.
Just make shit
in
up.
the end, it's not the years in your life that count; it's the life in your years. By Abraham Lincoln.
I love that.
So what do you think about that quote?
And
This is our motivation. So this is where we try to pump people up at the end of the episode.
Yeah. How can we use that as motivation and to inspire people that are listening? How can we use that quote?
So I'm trying to think of how to reflect this. You're going to die.
There it is.
You're going to die. Your kids are going to die. The business that you build is going to fall apart. The money that you accumulate is all going to perish. At some point in the world is the universe is 14 billion years old, and things collide. And at some point, something's gonna like collide into the earth, and the earth is going to disintegrate. All right, this isn't morbid shit. This is just like reality, I guess. Facts. Anything that you build in this world at some point is not going to exist. Any legacy that you live at some point is going to be forgotten. At anything you anything you build, anything you create, anything you leave when you die, at some point will not exist. Don't take any of it seriously. Don't take any of it too seriously. But go at it 1,000,000 miles an hour and have the time of your life, knowing that you have nothing to lose because you're going to die.
It's a good way to look at it.
And I think the reason that connects with me, what you're saying there is, it doesn't matter if you live 35 years, just optimize to 35 years. It doesn't matter if you live 85 years, optimize 85, right? But whatever years you have, and none of us know how many years we have, just live full out, man. Just go at it. But it comes back to, you have nothing to lose. You are going to die. Stop trying to survive until your last exhale. Just like full throttle. And I'm not going back to corporate. I'm unemployable at this point. That shit's captivity, right? I mean, I want freedom. I want more time freedom. I want more financial freedom. And sometimes I don't want more time or more financial freedom so that I can become busier. I want financial freedom so I can become less busy, because I want to stop and I want to breathe and I want to look at sunsets and I want to watch sunrises and I want to listen to the ocean, because that's what life is all about. Like, we're surrounded by beauty, but none of us are really enjoying the beauty that we have because we're so freaking busy trying to accomplish something that's eventually going to be forgotten.
Yeah, I love it. So quick things up there. Couple people asking, will this interview be recorded? Yes, this is our podcast. We do it every Wednesday, Friday from 1:30 to 3 o'clock Central. It is on the podcast platforms, every single one, and it is recorded on YouTube. And we even break up segments. Like this interview with Mike's going to be its own YouTube video along with the entire episode. So we break it up that way. So
I just remembered the other quote.
Let's go.
Let's get it.
I just remembered it.
That'd be a good one to end on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Life is not difficult. It's lack of trust in life that makes life so difficult. Like, if you really look at, you guys, look at what happened in your lives. You met some awesome people who elevated your game, right?
Yep.
Can you say that you guys, like, completely did everything to build your business?
No.
Nope.
No. Did sometimes just things just went your way and it just like started building, and sometimes it wasn't even because you did anything, it just you met the right person who added something to you that allowed you to get to the next step. Same thing happened to me. And if we really take a look at it, life is supportive. Life is like, we go to war with life, like life is our adversary. And sometimes we stop to realize, we don't stop and realize that life is always looking to help us level up and grow and get what we want, but we're too busy at war with life, like trying to survive and trying to force outcomes that we never really stop to see and reflect that life wants for you what you want for yourself. You just won't receive it easily. And you won't allow the right support into your life to help you, because you deserve help too. So I love that line, man. When I started trusting life, when I started trusting that life wants me to be successful, that's when life really shifted.
A lot less difficult.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, very cool.
I love it. So make sure you're Inner Wealth Global, and then make sure you're subscribed to this. Mike's getting ready to announce our shots, Walls.
Yeah, you got to be our announcer, Mike, and commentator.
I've never been an announcer, but I'll give it my best.
Time for everything. Look at the score up there. Look at the score as we start. 3-3. Tied up.
Where are we going? How are we doing this?
We're shooting this right in there. Who's going to shoot this in the trash can?
Are you guys going to shoot at the same time? Who's going first?
There's a piece of paper.
Lucas Walls is at the line. He's with intensity and bucket.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, I should go first. I get so
Ding Sam up, and
Lucas got this wing on. That's not a good thing.
Sam steps to the line. He doesn't look quite as serious, doesn't look quite as intense. He's tall and skinny, and he hits it too.
4-4.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
See you, everyone. Thanks, bro. Thanks for listening to today's episode. We hope you got some major value from our conversation. If you love what you learn, make sure you like, rate, review the show, and help us spread the word by telling a friend.
If you'd like to learn more about working with me inside one of my programs, we'll have those links in the show notes, along with all our social media handles, so you connect with us there for free. If there's a real estate question you'd like us to answer, feel free to send us a message and we'll cover it in an upcoming show.